What's going on, guys? Today I'm back with another Hat format replay review for you guys. If you're interested in sending in your Hat format replays, you can go down to the video description and find all the information on how to go about sending those in. Anyways, the match I have for you today, we have the alt with no name, who is going to be on Madolche. I believe this was pure Madolche. It might have been Madolche hands. I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to see. Versus Floatstone Mafia, who is going to be on Koa'Ki Meiru Fire Fist, I believe. Maybe this is just pure Koa'Ki Meiru. I'm not entirely sure for both of these players, if I'm being honest. I just know the baseline of what the deck is, so we will have to see what variants they're on, if any. And the only way to do that is to, check out the video. So let's get straight into this. Here, it looks like Floatstone Mafia is going to get to start this one out. Opening hands, we see Breakthrough Skill, Lance, Messengelato, Wiretap, and Magdalene. And on the other side, we see Black Horn of Heaven, Compulse, Diamond Core, Soul Charge, and Solemn Warning. And here they will get a draw for turn, getting a copy of Crusader. So a pretty alright hand. It kind of lacks, one extra piece of way to get into, say, an Urnite, because the core can search the Iron Core, but they won't have access to something like an Urnite, so maybe they'll play it a little slow. And here it looks like they're just setting 3, so they are going to play it slow. Here it looks like alt with no name is going to summon Messengelato and just poke in for some damage here before going to main phase 2 maybe and setting 4 back row. Over to Floatstone Mafia, who now gets a copy of Urnite, so very strong here. They are going to activate the copy of Diamond Core to add the Iron Core, and then here they are going to banish the copy of Diamond Core to make so that for the rest of this turn, Koa'Ki Meiru monsters you control cannot be destroyed, and then they are going to normal summon that copy of Urnite, use the effect revealing the copy of Iron Core, and Breakthrough Skill is going to be chained to that, but we are going to see the Compulse chained to the Breakthrough Skill, so the Urnite is going to resolve, summoning a copy of Crusader here, which is then going to run over the Messengelato, and then the Messengelato will shuffle itself back via its effect. Unfortunately, Floatstone Mafia doesn't have any Koa'Ki Meiru cards in graveyard to be able to add back via the Crusader, so here they are just going to pass. Here, it looks like alt is going to draw into a copy of Max C. They're going to summon the Messengelato, and that is going to be met with warning. But you remember, alt does have that copy of Wiretap, so they will be able to shuffle it back. Here, adding a copy of Angeli, and then passing it over to Floatstone, who gets a copy of Koa'Ki Meiru Ice. Here, they're going to normal summon a copy of Urnite, or the same copy of Urnite, and Max C is going to be chained to the effect of Urnite, and here another Crusader is going to be summoned, and then alt is going to draw a copy of DD Crow. Going to battle phase, the Crusader is going to attack over the Magdalene, which will get shuffled back into the deck, and then Crusader and Urnite are going to swing in for some pretty solid damage. These are very big monsters. 1900 and 2000 is definitely a pretty solid thing here. And in end phase, Floatstone is going to reveal the Crusader for the maintenance cost of all of these. And then here we're going to see alt draw a copy of Lance, I believe it was there. Summon the Angeli, use the effect, tributing it, going for H.A.T effect, banishing Angeli to summon a Messengelato. Messengelato is going to add Chateau. Chateau is then going to be activated, and here the Madolches will gain a bit of a boost, and it looks like alt is going to go to battle phase and run into the copy of Urnite. And the one thing to keep in mind is because the H.A.T was summoned off of the Angeli, it has that little hidden ability that people tend to forget that says, let me see, you can tribute this card, special summon 1 Madolche from your deck, and if you do, it cannot be destroyed by battle, but it gets shuffled in during your next end phase. So here they're able to just run over the Urnite, and the H.A.T will stay, and then here we're seeing the Messengelato run over one of those copies of Crusader, before setting a copy of Lance and passing it back over to Floatstone Mafia, who now gets a copy of Diamond Core, so a very strong draw for them. Here they can activate it and add another copy of Urnite to hand. Moving along, though, we are going to see the Diamond Core banished again to protect the Koa'Ki Meirus before Floatstone is going to summon that copy of Koa'Ki Meiru Ice. From here, they're going to use the Ice effect, which, has the ability that says you can send a card from your hand to the graveyard, destroy a special summon monster on the field, so discarding this copy of Crusader and trying to pop this copy of H.A.T here, and Alt is going to think here, and here it is going to get added back to hand because the Chateau, if a Madolche would be shuffled back into the deck via a card effect, then you're able to add it back. It says, actually, let me just see here. It says if a monster's in your graveyard would be returned to the deck by a card effect of a Madolche monster, you can add it to your hand instead. So this would get destroyed. It would go to graveyard, attempt to shuffle itself back into deck, but Chateau will add it to hand. Here we're seeing Ice activated, discarding the Urnite to pop the copy of Messengelato here. Here we're going to see Crow chained. And what are they going after here? Banishing the Urnite and then going Forbidden Lance on the copy of Ice here. Okay, interesting. And then going Breakthrough. So this will be negated and then its attack will be slightly lower. Trying to figure out what was the purpose of this. Maybe, I guess if they're reading that Floatstone has a copy of Soul Charge, which would be a very interesting thing given I don't believe it was revealed, then maybe they're just trying to keep them off of being able to go into some form of Soul Charge play, but at the same time, they still have a lot of bodies in graveyard, and right now they even have stuff. So I'm just trying to quickly think what would be the purpose of this, maybe just so they can't go to battle phase, but even then, these are 2 weak, so kind of interesting play there. Here, going and overlaying into a copy of 101 and taking the copy of Messengelato here. And then after that, they're taking a second to think and, well, taking a long time to think, actually. So, kind of an interesting spot to be in. They even said on the side, big think, which is definitely understandable here. They are going to go for a Soul Charge play, bringing out Urnite and Crusader. And just Urnite and Crusader, okay. And then from here, they're going to overlay into a copy of Rhapsody and Berserk. Okay, nice. So using the effect, banishing the Crow and the Max C. So, I guess keeping the breakthrough skills in graveyard because there's 2 of them, and they want to, keep the alt with no name off of being able to have a monster in graveyard for the H.A.T to be able to use its effect. And then here we are going to see the Rhapsody equip to the copy of 101, so this is kind of beefy right now. It's at 3,300, so definitely a hard card to out here. And over to Alt, who gets a copy of Dark Hole, so, maybe regretting a little bit getting rid of those monsters here, but at the same time, the H.A.T really doesn't do much here anyways. So here, the Dark Hole is going to be activated and chaining the copy of Breakthrough, so being able to out that 101 very easily. And then here we are going to see the H.A.T activate, banishing the Messengelato, and the Messengelato was under the 101 there, so having a monster access anyways. So pretty solid. That was definitely the perfect draw for Alt here. Moving on into game number 2, Floatstone will get to start this one out again. Here we see opening hands, Ticket, H.A.T, Angeli, Instant Fusion, and Warning. And on the other side, we see DD Crow, Soul Charge, Crusader, Diamond Core, and Tenki. So very solid hand from both players, honestly. Here we're going to see Floatstone Mafia drawn to a copy of Urnite, so even better. Here we're going to see Diamond Core activated, adding the regular Iron Core there. And from here, they're going to normal summon Urnite, revealing the Iron Core, special summoning a copy of Crusader. After that, overlaying into Lavalval Chain, using the effect, detaching and sending the Urnite, so now they can make a big Soul Charge play. Going for Soul Charge, bringing out the double copy of Urnite, since it is a soft once per turn effect. Here, using the effect and summoning a Crusader. And after that, let's see, they're going to overlay into a copy of Tiger King, which will set a copy of Tenki, I'd assume, which is Tenki adding a copy of Bear. And then from here, it looks like, taking a second to think, they are just going to go to end phase and reveal the Bear for the Urnite maintenance cost. So they actually couldn't do much with this because I guess in a way they might have been able to do this unless they sided out the Ice. But at the same time, they did draw the Crusader, which would have been the 3rd, which is what you'd usually summon off of this. So I guess choosing just to leave this around just in case, these get outed or something like that. Here, Alt is going to draw for turn, getting that copy of Dark Hole. That card it's crazy they keep seeing this, because this is a very swingy card into a board like this. So being able to activate Dark Hole and just clear everything, normal summoning Angeli and summoning a copy of Hootcake using the Hootcake, and here we are going to see Floatstone use the DD Crow to banish the Angeli. Now this is actually a kind of interesting situation because Alt does have instant fusion, so given they are on a level 3 instant fusion target, they could just summon it and then overlay into, say, a copy of Levier and bring back the Angeli. Though Angeli is only once per turn, so there's not necessarily a reason to do that if they don't feel threatened. So here we are actually just going to see them go to battle phase, so playing it very smart and then activating the ticket setting warning over to Floatstone Mafia, who now gets a copy of Ice Hand. So very good into this board, honestly, because the Ice Hand can just start going and running stuff over. So the Ice Hand is going to attack into Hootcake. The effect is going to activate. Oh, but the warning. So the warning will actually stop that. So that was like the perfect counter here. The Alt with no name is going to draw into a copy of Max C, and now this could get out of control, given the Hootcake is now summoned, instant fusions activated, and Floatstone Mafia has seen enough. They're only at 4,400, so, you know, this instant fusion could very easily just go for that level 3, overlay into Levier, Levier detach a material, bring out Angeli. Angeli is then able to tribute itself and go for something else if need be, or even at that point just swing in, and that would be, you know, I'm pretty sure close to enough damage, if not enough damage, pretty easily from that position. So yeah, honestly, crazy. I think the Dark Hole really carried in both of those games, but overall, a pretty solid back and forth, honestly, to an extent. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it, comment any questions or videos you want to see in the future, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get notified anytime I put a new video out, share this video with your friends, and don't forget to go down to the video description to find out how you can send in your hat format replays, whether you won or lost. If you thought the deck you or your opponent was playing was pretty cool, feel free to send that in. I'm sure a lot of people would love to see it. And anyways, guys, I will see you in the next video.